Hi, I'm Maura McCullough, founder of College Scoops. Our goal at College Scoops is to provide valuable, curated content to help students and parents get a better feel and vibe of a college campus and the surrounding area. Whether you are in high school or at university, College Scoops provides the inside scoops on everything college related, highlighting the best places to eat, stay, and explore on and around campus. We know college visits in particular should and can be fun, offering new insights into the local community and surrounding area each and every time you step foot on campus.
What's up, guys? My name is Greg. I'm the lead student ambassador for College Scoops at Penn State, and today we're going to bring you a virtual campus experience video. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, guys. My name is Greg Voss. I'm a rising junior at Penn State. I'm from Summit, New Jersey, and am a management information systems major. I am the head student ambassador for College Scoops, and at Penn State, I'm involved with Thon, which is a large fundraiser we do for childhood cancer to help families pay for medical bills. I'm involved in Greek Life and an organization called Radio, which is a student-run broadcasting agency out of Innovation Park at Penn State.
Hi, my name is Francesca Mullen, and I'm a rising junior at Penn State University. I am a public relations major. I am fortunate enough to be involved in the Alpha Phi fraternity, where I serve as the Vice President of Membership Recruitment, and I'm also involved in the Association for Women in Sports Media, where I previously served as Secretary for the organization.
Hey guys, my name is Ian Brick. I'm from Bucks County, PA, and I'm a rising sophomore at Penn State. My intended major is finance, and some things I'm involved with are Finance Society, Greek Life, Thon, and Ski Club.
My name is Liam Wright. I'm from Ambler, PA. I'm going to my sophomore year. I'm a finance major, and I'm involved in Greek life and intramural sports.
My name is Louis Magliero. I go by Louie. I am going to be a sophomore at Penn State this coming year. I'm from Florham Park, New Jersey, and my major is hospitality management. And a couple things I'm involved in is Thon. I'm involved with Greek life. I'm involved as well in a club called AHLA through my major.
Hi everyone, my name is Victoria Gaffney, but everyone calls me Tor. I am a rising junior studying public relations at Penn State University. I'm from Yonkers, New York, and a little bit that I'm involved with on campus is I'm a lifeguard at the McCoy Natatorium, and I'm also a swim instructor there. I'm also in a sorority, Pi Beta Phi.
My name is Nick Shimkin. I'm from Long Island, New York. I'm going into my sophomore year at Penn State. I'm a public relations major, and I'm involved in Radio, club wrestling, and Greek life.
My name is Zachary Zajax. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My major is electrical engineering, and I'm going into my sophomore year at Penn State.
What do you wish you knew when you arrived at freshman orientation?
When I came to freshman orientation, something I wish I knew was it's okay to be nervous and confused at first. I remember they give you a lot of information from the start, so a lot of it may be hard to process, but just know there's always going to be people that you can go to, whether it be advisors, other Penn State students, or literally anyone on campus. Penn State's a big community, and everyone's willing to help.
I wish I had been given the advice to not be as nervous as I was.
What I wish I would have learned before going into the orientation was to be more engaged in the activities.
Bring a pen and paper because you obtain a lot of information. You can also take notes on your phone, as I found that was very useful to refer back to when I had questions after I left.
I would say the biggest thing I wish I knew when I was arriving on campus for orientation was just the layout of campus and where big staples of the campus were. So where the hub is or where the library was.
The one thing I wish I knew going into freshman orientation was more about what classes I wanted to pick and what professors I wanted as well.
One thing that I wish I knew before freshman orientation would be the types of classes that I'd be taking and the way that those classes would be taught to me. Coming from a smaller school, I wasn't used to going into these bigger classes, and especially going to your first semester as a freshman, it could be a little hard.
What was the deciding factor in choosing Penn State?
The deciding factor for me when choosing Penn State was the wedding dress feeling I felt when I walked onto campus.
I would say November of my junior year, when I was going on all these college tours, that I actually went and walked through the whole campus with a tour guide. And I remember being with my dad and turning around halfway through the tour, and I was like, this is where I want to go to school. You don't even need to bother to take me on other tours. It was a 75-degree day in the middle of November, which was awesome. The campus was so green, so clean. Everything, the buildings, how the sun was going off the buildings just made it seem like the best campus in the world, and it really is.
My deciding factor in choosing my college was definitely the academics, the social scene, and of course the Penn State sports.
A very important factor to me was that they had a lot of options that I can get involved with, and obviously at Penn State we have a lot of that because it's such a huge school, such a big campus.
The deciding factor for me for joining Penn State as my college had to have been it had the major that I wanted and was very highly praised at Penn State for hospitality management. The school spirit and all that they have to offer, such as joining Thon was a big thing that I was interested in, and just getting myself more involved in Penn State had everything that you could possibly think about.
I chose the College of Business because I wanted a major that I could get a job right out of school.
How easy is it to register for classes?
I found it particularly easy to register for classes, but I know some friends who didn't find it that easy, and help was readily available.
It's really easy to register for classes. The Lion Path and the system Penn State has makes it very easy.
Myself have never had a problem. I've gotten into any class that I've needed to get into.
To register for classes as an incoming freshman can definitely be a little nerve-wracking. I remember doing it at NSO, and it's kind of hard in the beginning, especially not knowing the class that you want to take and maybe not knowing a lot about the professors. So I'd say if you can, try to get in contact with someone that has been a previous Penn State student.
Registering for classes at Penn State can be stressful. My tip would be to use your advisor as much as possible. They can help you get into classes even after they are closed.
They do it by how many credits you have, so seniors go first, juniors, sophomores, freshmen. If you're an athlete, you actually get priority scheduling, which is nice because your schedules will be all over the place because of sports and stuff, practice in the morning and practice in the afternoon.
What is the social scene like? Are freshmen allowed at parties?
The social scene at Penn State is really fun. There's always a party or always an activity you can go to.
The social scene at Penn State can be whatever you really want it to be. I know if you're involved with clubs, a lot of the times the kids will get together outside of the meetings. Greek life is obviously a big thing, but that's not everything at Penn State. There are so many different ways for you to go out and get social, meet new kids.
It's a heavily Greek-involved school, so there is a lot of people in sororities and fraternities. However, you do not need to be in a sorority or fraternity in order to have a social life and go out.
The social scene at Penn State is pretty great. Even freshmen and non-Greek life have harder times finding their ways into parties, but there's still places like clubhouses such as snowboard and swim that throw parties and people can join. And even if you can't get into parties, just hanging out with people on your dorm floor was a great time, which I did the majority of my first couple months at college.
The social scene freshman year for me mainly consisted of dorm parties, apartment parties, and frats. Usually to get in frats as a freshman, you need to know someone or have a connection within the house. But if you don't, that's fine. There's plenty of other alternatives for you to have a good time other than frats.
The social scene at Penn State is heavily dominated by Greek life, I would say. And as a freshman, it's a little harder to get into those kind of parties. Some of the fraternities will let you in, but freshman year, I definitely advise joining clubs because they have social events as well.
How difficult is it to find housing?
For me, I also have never had a problem with housing. My freshman year, I lived in Packer Hall in the East area, which is East is all freshmen. You're guaranteed housing your freshman year. So freshman year, it shouldn't be a problem.
Finding housing on or off campus, never really that big of an issue. After freshman year, 50% of students live off campus in apartments or houses. But for those of you who think you want to stay on campus all 4 years, the way you go about living on campus is you do the same thing you did freshman year. You go on e-living. I think the deadline is sometime in November. You put in your preferences for where you want to live, and they'll get back to you in February.
I did not find it that difficult to be able to find and apply for housing. They make it really easy on the websites.
I would say it's a little difficult to find housing, being that as soon as you're a sophomore, you kind of live off campus for the most part. And it could be difficult because you have to do it early on into your freshman year, and you might not have a group of people that you know who you want to live with yet. And prices vary depending on where you want to live. So there are a lot of variables that can be put into place about finding a place to live next year.
Housing at Penn State can be challenging, but my best advice was not to let it stress you out. There are many places to live on and off campus. So if you don't get your top choice, just know that there are many other places to live.
Finding housing isn't too bad. There's a lot of really good apartment buildings, such as the Rise and the Edge, that have a lot of places and are really easy to get into. You just need to fill out the application.
Are students actively involved in clubs, recreational sports, and outside activities?
Clubs and activities are a big part of Penn State and on campus. When thinking of my friends, I can't think of anyone that is not in an activity or club or sport. So make sure you go to the involvement fair and find clubs that interest you and join it.
Students are definitely actively involved in like different clubs and activities and stuff like that. Like if you want to find something that you're interested in, there's definitely something for you. I always say that there's something for everybody at the school.
There are so many different things you can do at Penn State that it's honestly hard not to be involved. And I would say that, if 90% of students are at least involved in one club, whether that be, or activity, whether that be, Greek life or Thon or IM sports or stuff like that, everyone is involved in something. And there's really a club for any interest that you could possibly have.
It is important to remember that you do not have to get involved, but it truly will help acclimating to college life and getting to meet new people you may have never met before.
Opportunities to do things are all around in Penn State. There's job fairs, there's club fairs, there's just endless opportunities to be able to join things.
I would say that the Penn State students are heavily involved in outside of classroom activities. There's a wide variety of club sports that you can try out for. There's intramural level as well. And there are plenty of clubs throughout majors and almost anything that you have an interest in. I'm sure that there's a club for you to join, and it's definitely something that attracts a lot of more students to go there.
Does Penn State do a good job helping students with internships and research opportunities?
Penn State does a great job at get notifying you about internships or research opportunities.
I would say that yes, the university does do a good job in helping students apply for internships or research opportunities. Me personally, I can only talk from experience in the communications school, Belisario. So they have a very, very experienced team working to help you find internships.
Penn State as a whole, they have a great reputation in the outside world of trying to get their students internships. I think that name really definitely helps. And speaking on my own perspective in the hospitality management school, they definitely push students to get internships and get their name out there, and they have many networking events, and this is one of the great reasons to go to Penn State.
Your advisors will always help you, and if you're in the comm school, the internship advisor will send you a bunch of emails every day with different internships and job opportunities.
Penn State does an absolutely phenomenal job at setting up students with job opportunities and internship opportunities. So I would say a couple times every semester we'll have career fairs, and they'll be split up by school. So Smeal College of Business, which I'm a student in, we'll have one in the business building. On top of that, we have academic advisors just like every other school, and we have this website called Nittany Lion Careers, which is like honestly better than LinkedIn, better than any of those websites. It's companies that are specifically looking for Penn State students, which is awesome. You sign in with your Penn State Access stuff, and you can apply to internships right through Nittany Lion Careers.
What tips do you have to succeed academically at Penn State?
The biggest tip I can give freshmen coming in is that unlike in high school, you can't really get away with studying the day before for exams.
Some of my advice on study techniques would always be taking advantage of the resources your professor gives you, whether it be a practice exam or a review sheet. Always take advantage of that so you can be prepared for the exam. And always make sure throughout the year to take notes, whether it be electronically or on paper, so you can reference it right before your exam.
To succeed academically, it's really just finding a balance of time. There's always time for everything. There's always time, to go to class, have fun, study, get your work done. So just find time to do everything and definitely show up to class.
The greatest tip that I have ever received for how to succeed academically in college is treat it like a job. Put in your hours.
Time management is super essential in doing well in college. I have found that my most successful semesters are when I established time management into my day and making sure that all of my homework and studies were done before I proceeded on any other activities.
To succeed academically at Penn State, I am a strong advocate of being ahead in your classes. For Math 110, as an example for a class, my teacher would post the homeworks 2 weeks in advance. The first 3 nights it was up, I would complete it. So I was effectively a week and a bit ahead of the class. So I was able to spend time with friends, do social activities, and not be overwhelmed by school.
I'm not going to lie, there are a lot of big classes. For example, I've had classes with 500 people, but I've also had classes with 25 people. So it's honestly just what kind of classes you're taking, and once you start to get more major specific classes, then obviously the class will get smaller. But one of my biggest things is, which I did not follow this rule in the beginning, but now I do. Find at least, or try to take classes with your friends after you have made friends. But freshman year, first semester, if you don't know anyone, talk to this person sitting next to you. Ask them what's their name, where they're from, just talk to them so you know you have a friend in that class. And if you're struggling with anything, need homework help, want a study buddy, anything, that person is there for you. And if you make that connection first day of class, freshman year, that is going to stick with you and you're going to keep doing that.
I'd say definitely finding a good place to go and do your work. If it's not your room, find a library, study lounge. The best way to probably learn might not be from the teacher, it might be from like your friends or your peers. They always have a different way to explain things and that could always be helpful. So finding a small group of kids to do homework, study with, that's definitely beneficial, and always going to see the teachers. The teachers want to help, they're there to help you, and if you can make time, they'll make time for you.
Here's how you can get more information like what you have just seen to help you and your student get the inside scoops on college life. We have close to 100 ebooks available at collegescoops.com for purchase. All of our ebooks feature student and parent testimonials on what life is like on campus, living, learning, and working while attending college. We offer students and parents favorite places to eat on and around campus, along with a host of local excursions for you, your student, and family to enjoy during your college experience. With direct links to restaurants, hotels, and excursions, we have made it as easy as possible for you to plan your trip, saving you time, energy, and stress. Whether it is your first time visiting or at graduation, we've got you covered.